Hey, what's up? Wes here. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Now, it's hard to believe that Castlevania is 30 years old, and it is by far one of my all-time favorite video game franchises. So, in celebration of Castlevania's 30th birthday, I figured I would compile a list of my top 5 favorite Castlevania games. Now, I think I came up with a pretty damn good list. What do you think, Alucard?
You have been doomed ever since you lost the ability to love.
Yeah, let's take a look at the list. The game that started it all. I fell in love with Castlevania back in '87 when a neighbor lent it to me, and the name Konami struck a chord with me as it was the very first title from the then elite video game publisher I had played. Well, for the NES anyway. Rock and Rope for the ColecoVision was actually the first Konami game that I had encountered, but I'm getting off track here. In Castlevania, you assume the role of vampire hunter Simon Belmont, who is assigned the task of ridding the world of the evil Count Dracula, who has appeared in his sanctuary Castlevania, alongside a cast of nefarious monsters who abide to his every whim. Armed with a whip, Simon traverses 6 grueling stages loaded with infamous baddies throughout the horror genre, such as Frankenstein's monster and my favorite as a kid, the Grim Reaper. Castlevania combined addictive platforming with gorgeous visuals and an amazing soundtrack which enveloped you in the dark, macabre castle, which other than Ghosts and Goblins was a fresh and innovative idea for North American gaming. The use of a whip and sub-weapons such as holy water brought a completely new element to the table, giving players alternatives to how they chose to dispatch of Dracula's minions. And the game offered a plethora of secrets hidden within the castle, such as treasure, one-ups, and the highly coveted pork chop. Castlevania is a classic in every sense of the word. It has a ton of nostalgic value for me, being as it was the inaugural game which introduced me to the series, and I've been a huge fan ever since. It's one of my go-to games that I can pick up at any time, especially shit-faced, and it's a good thing Dracula keeps getting resurrected, because it only gets better from here. I picked up Circle of the Moon along with Super Mario Advance on the Game Boy Advance's launch date, and guess which one I played the most? Circle of the Moon continues with the Metroidvania-style tradition first brought to us in the form of Symphony of the Night. In it, you play as Nathan Graves, armed with an enchanted whip on the search for his lost mentor. Once again, Dracula is resurrected in an enormous castle filled with beasts, devils, and demons, hell-bent on creating the utmost havoc for our whip-wielding protagonist. Circle of the Moon boasts of a huge cast of monstrosities ready to unmercifully tear you to shreds with its unforgiving difficulty. Luckily, save rooms are scattered throughout, and sub-weapons are littered within the castle walls to aid you on your quest. The game also employs a unique card system, which allows you to customize secondary attacks and/or defense mechanisms, which is paramount to surviving the horrors within Castlevania. Numerous challenging bosses inhabit the castle, and if you think they're a handful, they're nothing compared to the addictive balls to the wall, take no prisoners, sissies need not apply battle arena, where grinding to earn experience points takes on a whole new level of masochism. While there were 2 more Castlevania games released for the GBA in the same vein, both boasting better visuals, aesthetically, Circle of the Moon is still very impressive, and the outstanding soundtrack, coupled with its harrowing difficulty, is what resonates with me on this gem. What can I say about Castlevania IV? I first played it in the summer of '92, and good God, it blew me away. The graphics, my God, the graphics. The gigantic rock monster, the vivid landscapes, the swinging chandeliers. To say I was impressed is an understatement. Shit, the mode 7 on the map in between stages was out of this world. I had dreams about this game when I wasn't playing it. And then there's the music. From the eerie atmosphere of the ambient intro right before the drawbridge closes, to the blaring organ in the castle's entrance, to the amazing piano rendition within the first steps into Castlevania, the soundtrack alone puts this game in my top 5. Without a doubt, the ingenious score of Castlevania IV damn near exploits every instrument that the Super Nintendo sound chip has to offer and masks the fact that the game is fairly easy due to the introduction of Simon Belmont's 8-point attacks and limp-wristed flick-a-whip style. With the ability to finally manipulate jumps in mid-air, along with the contortion of the whip, Castlevania IV provides the series with stellar controls, which no longer could be construed as a hindrance as opposed to its prior installments. And in homage to these past installments, many enemies reprise their roles, including bosses such as the Orphic Vipers and of course the infamous Grim Reaper. Accompany that with an amazing soundtrack, and Castlevania IV is absolute sensory overload and will leave you drooling for hours after you've turned the power off and set the controller down.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets!
Say what? Symphony of the Night isn't number 1? Now you're probably wondering, how much crack does this guy smoke? And the answer to that is, a lot. But just stick with me here. Symphony of the Night is a fantastic game, and probably one of my all-time favorites. Now I didn't know what to expect when I walked into the local game shop in October of '97 and saw this game on the shelf. I never even knew of its existence until that very moment, but it was Castlevania, damn it, and I had to have it. And holy shit, I was not disappointed. Symphony of the Night is an absolute masterpiece. It ditched the linear style of Castlevania that we had become accustomed to in favor of a more open world adventure akin to the likes of Super Metroid, hence the Metroidvania subgenre, which was later coined to describe such adventures. The seek and find, backtrack and locate style is absolutely addicting. As soon as you discover an item which will unlock a previously impassable path, you immediately want to unlock and reveal its reward, which is often another impertinent item necessary to advance further, or better yet, a whole new area to explore. The game adopted an experience system often seen in RPGs, which again, glued you to the front of the TV for hours on end. Even grinding is a pleasure in this one, moving from room to room, disposing of baddies and building the strength of Adrian Tepish, also known as Dracula's son Alucard, who was the protagonist in this one. Items, weapons, and armor aren't just simply hidden within the confines of Castlevania this time. Enemies will actually drop spoils which can be equipped to further assist Alucard's pilgrimage against Daddy Gorefucks. Alucard also has the ability to summon familiars, little parasitic entities, to assist him in uncovering secrets like a seeing eye dog.
A switch. Why don't I press it and see?
Or providing potions when in dire need of resuscitation.
Regeneration!
The game is loaded with just about every distinctive baddie you can think of, and some of the most grotesque bosses to ever grace your television screen. And then there's the soundtrack. I think we have a theme going here. Do I really need to gush over how exceptional it is? I've had it on my iPod for years, and to say it's iconic is simply not giving it its due. Symphony of the Night is a hell of a sweet ride. Secrets adorn just about every nook and cranny, the castle is absolutely enormous, and just when you think you've finished the game, surprise, surprise, what could possibly top it? So yeah, I admit, Symphony of the Night is the better game, but Dracula's Curse is hands down my favorite. The memory of my entire summer of '91 is of me in my dark dungeon of a basement playing Castlevania III. No sun for this Nintendo nerd. I already had a prepubescent hard-on for the first two Castlevanias, so when I had first laid eyes on this game, I fell madly in love with it. It was just like the first one, only 1,000 times better. A prequel to the first installment, Simon Belmont's ancestor Trevor assumes the role of hero to, you guessed it, rid the world of Dracula. This time around, though, Belmont has the assistance of 3 allies, Grant Dynasty, Sifo Belnades, and Alucard, making his first appearance in the series, although he is a bit of a wuss in this one. This allows for multiple paths and choices to be made throughout the game, encouraging replay, which at the time was pretty innovative within itself. Draculas Curse basically took everything that made the first installment such an amazing adventure and improved on it. By adding multiple paths to choose from and the ability to utilize secondary characters' unique attributes to manipulate gameplay, Castlevania III is one of the best adventures to be had on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Not only is the game loads of fun, but it's extremely challenging as well, and will keep even the most seasoned of gamers enthralled with its brilliant stage layouts and clever enemy placements. The graphics and enemy sprites are some of the best for an 8-bit machine, with the gloomy and spooky layout of the game encapsulating you in the macabre landscape of Transylvania, and the bosses, like in subsequent entries, are some of the most vile creatures you'll ever have the pleasure of cutting into ribbons with a whip. And of course, we can't forget the music. Some of the best on the NES, hands down. Konami really outdid themselves with this one, and not only is Draculas Curse my favorite Castlevania game, it may be my all-time favorite NES game ever. A true monument in 8-bit gaming. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 favorite Castlevania games. So what would be on your top 5 list? What are your 5 favorite Castlevania games? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what other people have to say about Castlevania. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching this video. Stay tuned for this month. I got a lot of stuff planned out for Halloween. It's going to be a blast. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.